Hey, welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. It's Thursday at 6:34. It's time to get going. Time to talk about, we're talking about weirdos in sports. Weirdos in sports, not in the studio.
Yeah, because unfortunately, we're just a bunch of weirdos as well.
That's what I'm saying. We're not the weirdos in the studio. We're not talking about us as weirdos. We're talking about weirdos in sports, Blake.
Oh.
Not about us. I talk about me all day long. So, not on this show. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
But we definitely have experienced weirdos on like when you've been playing as well. So
that was probably when I was the most sane, as when I was in sports, when I played sports, because I was so competitive, overly competitive. I probably was the least weird on the ball field.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, because my life's pretty strange. I'm not gonna lie. You get to witness it firsthand. But we got some really cool topics. We got some cool word origins. I don't know what Blake has over there, but I got some really strange stories of sports. But before we get started, I got to talk about our amazing sponsor today. We're doing Blade and Bow as our whiskey of the week. But before we get to that, we got to talk about our amazing sponsors. First one we're going to talk about is St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. These guys have the best tasting tours in town. They really know how to do it right. Number one in the entire country as far as tasting tours. They have great flavors, amazing bourbons. Last week we did the port bourbon and almost finished off the bottle. Also, our other sponsors ate there for lunch. Meehan's Irish Pub. They're taking the chicken bites off and putting on the wings. The chicken bites are amazing, so I had to make sure I got the chicken bites. I was told I have about another month to have both on the menu.
But hey, the chicken wings are still amazing.
The wings are great. I'm glad they're back. Also, you had lunch there just this week. Kaiser's Deli and Market.
Fantastic place.
Wow.
I doubt that Kaiser. That's going. You're going to see me every Wednesday now.
Part of the rotation, right?
Absolutely.
Part of the rotation. Kaiser's Deli and Market. You get over there and check them out. Kaiser just does an amazing job. Fresh deli meats. They have ready to cook meals, which makes it really easy if you just grab and go home and just heat them up. Say hi to Kaiser. Let him know you heard about it on the show. We appreciate it. All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum. They've been one of our original sponsors. They're on sponsor row. Cindy and the crew over there, they have over 800 artifacts. The Croce family brought us this amazing museum up from Key West, and we're so thankful. It's one of those things, if you haven't been yet, you need to give yourself a treat and go to the St. Augustine Pirate Museum and go in there with your thinking cap on, because you're going to learn some stuff for real. All right. A little hidden gem, Roosevelt Room. The Roosevelt Room, to me, is one of the best places for breakfast and lunch. It's located right on St. George Street. They have an amazing event space. They can close down your and do a small wedding. They can do up to 75 people. That's a large wedding for me, I can tell you right now. They can do corporate events. They can do outings. They can do fundraisers. All these things, go see the Roosevelt Room and the event space they have there. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. Ooh, tax if you did your extensions. It was due this week. These guys keep me out of trouble. I appreciate them every single day. They take care of all my different businesses. You hear my stomach growling? I mentioned taxes and my stomach started to growl. You heard that, right?
You might need some Pepto-Bismol in there.
Whew. But this is why I don't have an ulcer anymore, because I have Abare, Kresge and Associates. All right, Coquina Coast Realty. Got a great house for sale right now, 14 Iberia, just right located in the historic district for $579. Check it out and give me a call. Coquina Coast Realty number is 904-669-7901. If you want to get into Airbnb business, it's perfect for nightly rentals right downtown. It's a moneymaker. All right, Blake. It's time to get into the word origins. Unless you want to take a swig of the bourbon. Just bottle it, tip it up. What do you think?
No, hopefully.
You sure? You just get that good burn going right before.
Yeah, but thankfully you're not going to give me hell for not drinking the whole thing.
No, you won't have to swig this one. I mean, if you want to take a sip, you want to try it out. It has a little kick to it. You want to try it? I got a Red Bull chaser over here if you need it after the sip. Just take a little sip.
Okay, so actually, I don't actually have water, so I'm going.
You're gonna pass. All right,
decline,
I'll take your sip for you.
But
you're gonna start with the word origin then.
Yes, but okay. but we kind of missed it though because hopefully you don't give me hell for not drinking it, and that's my first one. Give someone hell.
Oh, giving someone hell is your first word origin. Oh,
yeah.
I was going to say, I've never given you hell for not drinking. Proud of you for not drinking. All right. But if I was to give you hell, I give you hell about having a messy room. I give you hell. So where does giving you hell come from?
So giving someone hell comes from the simile of hell, with something that is difficult or gruesome. And but of course it comes from the old English phrase, which of course like there was a lot more like religious people like at that time. So a lot of people just use the word hell a lot more to represent something that's like gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure like both of us have been in some like gruesome situations that we really want to give someone hell from.
Okay, so what time frame does it come out of? Is it just come straight from biblical times?
It definitely I think it comes from 1200s, I believe.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah.
So it's a little after biblical times, but like Dark Ages almost
yes.
is what it sounds like.
Ooh. I mean, yeah. Those are some gruesome times.
Yeah, no, that is giving some people some hell. We're talking ring around the rosy time.
Yeah, but this phrase is brought up a lot like during like punishment for kids like when you send someone to timeout like to a kid or maybe like a bad coworker like do you remember like a time where what's like the most time that you can publicly reveal they had to give someone hell?
I give people hell all the time. I was in a meeting yesterday. I was giving people hell. So I mean, it's part of my daily routine. I mean, somebody screws up at work or something like that, I'll give them hell about it. So yeah, no, I mean that's actually a term I use quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it comes from 1200s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, that makes sense from the Dark Ages.
Indeed, there were some dark ages.
All right, so mine is let her rip.
Mm.
It's not about passing gas. I know that's where your brain went. Let her rip. All right, so
you were thinking that as well.
Have you heard of the term let her rip?
Yes, definitely before like definitely racing, farting.
Yeah.
Like when I hear let it rip, I always think about like cars. Like
mm-hmm.
that's the first thing I associate with.
And it actually does come from racing. And it came from racing steamboats. So I'm talking, so you got to put the camera on me. So producing and hitting the buttons. If I start hitting buttons, it screws you up, doesn't it?
Don't press it on 5.
Oh no, that's what. Okay, you got to be careful where you push. Each of these cameras, are the numbers equal? Do they match up?
Yes, they.
What number am I?
You're number 2.
I'm number 2. Okay. What number is the dual one?
4.
That's number 4. Oh my gosh. So,
and me is 3.
So 2, 3, and 4 are the ones we're playing with today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's good to know. I can just reach over and do that anytime. All right. So let her rip actually comes from steamboat engines. Okay. And when they used to race on the Mississippi, it would be pushing the steamboat to its very extreme, to the point where you had to get it as close to blowing up as possible or ripping apart. So when you really wanted to go fast or you really wanted to do something, so it was first used in the 1840s. Mm-hmm. And when you really wanted to get after it, you just let her rip. Like I use this in golf, like, hey, I'm gonna take my driver and just let her rip. All right, that usually means I'm going to rip my back out of place when I swing, but that's kind of the term. Yeah, I mean, using the term "let her rip" is probably a little outdated for.
Yeah, it's
you're a Gen Zer, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you are?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm X. You're Z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as long as
then P and Dave.
That puts me ahead of you.
Then P and Davey are just Millennials.
They're millennials. They're millennials.
Sad.
They couldn't give them Y. Generation Y. So,
Makes you question.
all right. What's your other word origin?
All right. So, have you ever heard the fat lady sing?
I have heard the fat lady sing. That's when it's all over.
No.
It's not over till the fat lady sings.
Yeah. So you definitely heard about. So you definitely heard it figuratively. Have you actually heard it literally? Have you actually been to an opera?
I was going to say. I feel like this comes from opera, but no, I've never been to an opera. I feel like it's an opera statement that the play's not over till the fat lady sings.
You would actually be surprised.
What's it from?
It actually comes from a Dallas morning newspaper in 1976.
It's that early? No, I've been using Fat Lady Sings for a while. Come on, I got to question the origin of that. I feel like I've been saying that since I was a kid. 1976?
Yeah.
It's not over till the Fat Lady Sings. I feel like that's something Howard Cosell said. Oh, I'm gonna have to Google some stuff now.
Okay. So might have some asterisks on it. So to definitely, if you got any comments, please.
Let me hear the 1976 version of it.
So the popularized version of it came from a Dallas morning newspaper, talking about the Texas A&M and Texas Tech in a basketball game.
Okay.
And we're basically basically says they were tied 72-72 late in their tournament final. One of the sports information director for Texas Tech, Ralph Carpenter, went up to Bill Morgan, and Bill Morgan said, "Hey Ralph," said Bill Morgan, "this is going to be a tight one after all." And then Ralph said, "The opera ain't over till the fat lady sings."
Okay, that was the sports version of it. Okay, it goes back to 1876. Okay, the fat lady sings, and you got your morning definition there, but it goes back to the actual opera of 1876 is where it's actually comes from.
At least looks like I actually got the same.
The sports reference you got it. That was the first time that they used it as a sports reference. Yeah. But it seems like it was way before then.
It definitely was. That was my bad.
No. I Googled it, and your story holds weight.
Yeah.
Your story. Because I was like, I got to do a quick one, and it's March 10th, 1976. Mm-hmm. So from the basketball tournament. So yeah, your stories. It seems to be the first time it was used by a sports announcer, but it seems like it was used so many times. Mm-hmm. So. All right. Mine's also my other one's a sports reference also. It's hands down. Oh, they want it hands down. All right. And I thought this was a card reference. Okay. I thought it came from like playing cards and making the other person fold, like putting their hands down. Okay. It actually comes from horse racing. So, you know how a jockey's like riding and really trying to get after it and whipping the horse and really running the reins.
Yes.
All right. Well, if the horse is so far ahead, the jockey actually lowers his hands and just lets the horse run, and he puts his hands down and lets the horse run. So in this the first time it was written in written form was in 1832. A sports writer wrote about it in horse racing. I think the horse's name was Independence, and it said Independence won hands down by the jockey. And it went from hands down by the jockey to just hands down. So, all right,
good one.
All right, we got really good ones. What sports did you actually touch on?
So I mainly touched on So I have a basketball, football, and then ice skating.
Basketball, football, and ice skating. Yeah. All right, I have a baseball, a basketball, and football. Yeah. Basketball, football, and all right. So we each have a basketball and football. Let's do your football one first. Who you got for your football guy?
So I'm actually so I'm surprised you didn't go with him with a guy I had because he was a Miami Dolphin for a bit of time.
Okay.
Ricky Williams.
Oh yeah, no, he was a great player. He was really phenomenal coming out of college.
He went to Texas, correct? College football Hall of Fame?
by far the best running back coming out, and I think Ditka used up all his picks
Yep.
just to get Ricky Williams
Yeah.
when he was at New Orleans.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah.
New
So
Orleans
so it was
Saints.
so
Okay.
it was a 1999 draft. New Orleans had the 12th overall pick.
1999. Seems
Yeah.
like I was older.
So
than that.
New Orleans had the 12th overall pick, but during like the weeks before the draft, Dicko was hyping up like he wanted Ricky Williams, and he said to the public that he'll draft the entire team just to move up, which he did.
He gave up 6 picks to get to Ricky Williams, right?
Yeah, but at least Ricky was actually a good guy. Like he actually played okay for them. But
No, he was a solid player. I think he rushed for 1,000 yards, didn't he? The first 2 years,
I think,
and then he did it again with Miami. I mean, he had, compared to his college career and the hype that he had, he still had a good career. But the reason we called him weird is because he had social anxiety or something really bad, right?
yeah, it was.
And he would have to do interviews with his helmet on, so he felt protected. And a lot of times he had a screen on his helmet, like you couldn't even see his face.
I mean, to be fair, if I had to do interviews daily, I would totally do the same exact thing.
Yeah, but you do well on the camera. You're on camera right now.
True.
So,
but this is only.
they might have a little bit of bigger audience on ESPN than what we do here.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, they might have that's why we want people to hit that share button so we can pass ESPN.
And plus also follow us on Threads as well.
Yeah. Threads is the best.
Yeah.
All right, but Ricky Williams, did he win the Heisman?
I don't think he did actually. Maybe I'll double check on that one. But yeah, he like he had a lot.
I felt like he did.
He had a lot of bad anxiety, but what helped him out was his use of marijuana.
His smoking of weed.
Yeah,
And at that time, the NFL
was very harsh on it.
Was very hard against it. It wasn't a legalized situation.
Yeah, but actually, so I think it was after 2003. He won the Pro Bowl in 2000. He was an All Pro in 2002. Then played well in 2003, but then he retired after that.
Mm-hmm.
Then played again in 2005. Then got suspended
because of weed.
Yeah.
Then he gave up football because they wouldn't let him smoke weed. Right?
Yeah.
And wasn't that one of the reasons?
Yeah. But then he came back in 2007, played for the Dolphins until 2010. Then came back in then played again for the Ravens in 2011. Then left again, and plus during that time he also teaches yoga classes as well.
Yeah,
so, that's
he's a unique dude.
Definitely was.
Very, very cool dude. All right, you took us to the weed thing. All right, my football guy suffers from dementia. He got himself in some legal trouble. He got in trouble for drunk driving. Had some Percocet addictions, and he said cannabis saved his life. And look at the title of one of the sections of later in his career. What's it say?
Medical cannabis.
All right, and I'm talking about Jim McMahon, Chicago Bears fame. He won 2 Super Bowls. Did you know he won 2?
I knew he won in 85, but did he win as a backup for Favre?
Yes,
96.
He did with the Packers. All right, but he calls cannabis a godsend. He was able to eliminate painkillers, and he had a habit of 100 Percocet pills a month.
Oof.
All right, and he currently has a little battle with dementia because of the concussions. And he was involved in some concussion protocol. But Jim McMahon was on that amazing Bears team.
The 1985 Bears.
The 85 Bears.
But the only reason you root for them more is because of that one loss.
Well, Marino beat them, and it was a good team. It was week 13, I think. It was week 13, 14, somewhere in there. So they were cruising, and they looked unbeatable. And Dan Marino came out and played just a flawless game and beat them in that game. But Jim McMahon was such a wackadoodle, but he came from probably one of the most conservative colleges out there.
BYU.
Yeah, he was a Brigham Young quarterback. And how he ended up at Brigham Young is he was born in New Jersey. His family moved to San Jose. And then in high school, his family moved to Roy, Utah. All right. And he played his junior and senior year in Roy, Utah. And that's how he ended up at Brigham Young. Obviously, he didn't fit into the Brigham Young mold. Always was a character, always was in trouble. He broke like 23 records, NCAA records at Brigham Young. He was picked number 5 overall in the draft. And that you talk about your guy, Ricky Williams. What do they have in common? The head coach that had the confidence in him.
Mike Ditka. That bad.
So these you're talking about one of the most hard-nosed football players, probably one of the, when you think of a man's man, you think of Mike Ditka, you think of Dick Butkus. So,
but yeah, so two things. One, so even though McMahon broke records at BYU, he actually didn't win the Heisman. But you know who did? Ricky Williams.
Yeah, Ricky Williams did win the Heisman. Well, much later though.
1998.
Yeah, I think McMahon was going up against a guy like Bo Jackson or something. It would have been around that same time frame. Yeah. So,
but the only thing I noticed about Jim McMahon was he always wore his sunglasses. Mm-hmm. I think I remember. Do you know why he wore his sunglasses?
I thought it was because his eyes were sensitive, but he finished 3rd in the Heisman, by the way.
Yeah, but no, it was actually because when he was a kid, he actually got a fork in his eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and caused like lasting damage to it. So he can see out of that eye. It just caused like a little bit of damage for like overexposed sunlight, I think. So that's why he wears his glasses all the time.
Well, and I don't know if you know this, but he collaborated on a top 40 song.
Oh.
Did you know what it's called?
We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on
the Super Bowl shuffle. Yeah, the Bears Super Bowl shuffle. All right. So he won in 85, the 85 season with the Bears. All right. He won again as a backup for, like you said, Brett Favre 11 years later in 96. When he went to the White House for the Packers, Jim McMahon wore his Chicago Bears jersey. All right. You know why he wore his Chicago Bears jersey?
I'm not sure.
All right. So right after the Super Bowl, right around the time of the Super Bowl, the Challenger blew up. So the Bears visit got canceled to the White House. So one of the greatest teams of all time, because it's tradition, if you win the Super Bowl, you get to go to the White House. Mm-hmm. The Bears never got to go to the White House. All right. The team in 2012 got to go to the White House. Who was president in 2012?
Barack Obama.
Where's Barack Obama from?
Chicago.
What's Barack Obama's favorite football team?
Chicago Bears.
So all the living players from that team that were able to go to the White House got their visit back in 2012 and got to go to the White House. But as not really a protest, because he felt he had which he did, he had a more important role in the Bears victory than he did over the Packers. And, that's a little bit of a rivalry. They're in the same division, Chicago and the Packers. So Packers fans weren't happy when Jim McMahon did this.
But it was his last season anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also I accidentally misspoke. I was meant to say the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
All right. And he had some good years even after his Chicago time. He was a backup for Cunningham. He was a backup for Favre. The guy had a really good career. But one of the things that he really changed the game of football was one of the first ones that came out in interviews about concussions. Mm-hmm. And he was a part of a class action suit with 6 other retired professional players. And later, 75 other NFL retirees were making similar claims, almost forcing the hand of the NFL to change the way, there was no concussion protocol. I don't know if you remember there used to be a commercial and they took it off the air because it was making fun. It was a football player that came off and it was, asking him questions, everything. And they say, you know who you are? And he goes, I'm Batman. The football player says that. But they took it off. I think it was a Snickers commercial.
Ooh.
But he was one of the pioneers of getting this concussion protocol pushed forward in the NFL.
Yeah. Concussions are scary, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you haven't had one, have you? I don't think you have.
The only one time that you thought I did, you actually took me to the hospital like one time to get checked out, but thankfully I was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was not a fun time. Like a bit like being in the machine.
Oh, that's right. I had to when you were in the little what's it called?
I know it was in like a CT scan.
Yeah, CT. It's heck, I can't think of it.
Anyway.
But everyone knows what machine I'm talking about, where they
the
put
big
it around
donut.
you. And I'm having to wear the lead vest, and I'm holding on to your hand. You were a low guy then. All right. Who do you got next? Which way do you want to go next? Because we got time for one of yours, and then we're gonna do a sponsor break, and then so your other two you had was it hockey or you had
ice skating.
You had ice skating, and what was the other one? You had basketball.
Basketball.
Let's do the ice skating one. Let's see who you got.
Well. So we saw Davey walk out in a bit because I kind of wish I mentioned this to him because this is his favorite celebrity apparently. Tanya Harding.
I think his favorite celebrity is Taylor Swift.
Second favorite.
So I think Tanya might be his favorite athlete celebrity. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tanya Harding.
Oh bullshit.
Well, she was the first woman to do like a triple axel.
Yes.
Or something. She was very, very athletic.
She was good.
Yeah. Didn't she win the silver medal?
I think she.
Or she was. I know she was behind. She was behind Nancy.
Yeah.
And Tanya was getting little attention. And I think her husband and her husband friend schemed a thing.
Yep.
And I don't know if Tanya knew about it 100%, but she knew a little bit about it. What did your investigation say?
So I definitely think she was mad at Nancy, like
because she was getting all the attention.
Yeah, definitely.
She was getting the endorsements.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if she actually wanted the hit done.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think at this point, like since that's all people know about her, she's just riding the money train. I definitely think she made merch about it. She made memorabilia merch about it.
Well, she definitely went on that. I guess it's the D list. You have the A list, the B list, and the C list, and she's on the D list of celebrities. And she definitely made some money doing different reality shows,
boxing,
and things like that. Boxing, porn. Didn't she do a porn or something?
I might.
Or am I making that up? I know I didn't see it. I didn't. I did. I think that was at the time of VH. I bet we can probably find it.
I know
in like 2 seconds.
But hey, look, my computer's new. I do not want a virus on it.
Your computer says Ricky Williams right now, and I just said porn, and Tanya Harding popped up. It's weird. I think she did a lot of stuff like that. But I mean, she was really, really good.
She definitely was.
And I remember like her. I don't know if it was at the Olympics or Olympic trials where her shoelace broke or something like that, and she broke down on the ice. Mm-hmm. So I there's some very strange goings-ons about Tanya. But the weird irony of the whole thing is Nancy, who got attacked, later, I guess, at Disney World, she made some statements. And then it came out she was having an affair or something with a married man. And it ruined her career. But Tanya Harding, who was a part of the attacking side of it, not the victim side. And it seems like she came out on the good end and Nancy came out on the bad end of it. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. All right. So anyway, so Tanya never got a medal at the Olympics, but she did get she did win gold at the U.S. Championships.
U.S. Championship.
And that was where she hit the triple axel.
Okay, so I was right about the triple axel.
Yes.
Man, I'm proud of myself for knowing that much about ice skating.
But the one thing I know Tanya Harding about is like when I was like 10 to 12, I watched a lot of True TV, and one of the shows on there was like World's Dumbest, where it's just like
and she was one of the guest commentary.
She was, yeah.
And it was like ridiculousness before there was ridiculousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was hour long ridiculousness, but with way more unnecessary commentary.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's time to do our sponsors again. All right. I know we appreciate these guys, and if you have a chance to get out there and support our sponsors, please do so. If you haven't hit that share button, please do so. We're here to try and make you laugh and learn. Hopefully, we do that sometime during the show. And if you love the show, make sure you hit the share button. If you don't love the show, share it to somebody who you just want to torture, and maybe they'll love the show. All right. Our sponsors, Coquina Coast Realty. Give me a call, 904-669-7901. I have office space available. I have a house for sale right now. I have an apartment that people haven't filled yet. So if you're looking for any of those things, give me a call, 904-669-7901. Abare, Kresge and Associates, they're just the best CPAs in town. Make sure you give them a call. Talk to Billy over there. He'll take care of all your financial needs. If you think you're saving money doing your own taxes, you are wrong. You're not saving money. These guys are the professionals. They've been in it for decades. They know more about it than you do. Give them a call. You'll save money. All right. Roosevelt Room and Event Space. To me, it's the best breakfast in town. They have an amazing lunch, a great menu. Give them a chance if you haven't made it. If you're downtown and you're like, man, where's a good place to go grab lunch? The Roosevelt Room is the place you want to go grab lunch. Your next event, give them a call. They have an amazing event space, up to 75 people in there. They can set a menu however you want to set it. Wonderful place for a reception dinner, anything you want to do along those lines. The Roosevelt Room is top notch. All right, also top notch along Sponsor Row. Roosevelt Room's kind of on Sponsor Row. It's within the ballpark. It's a golf shot away.
So definitely say Sponsor Row extension.
Yeah, because I'm here's the thing. We have 4 sponsors that I think I could hit a golf ball to each into one. If I started at the City Gate Spirits, I think I can hit a golf ball to the Meehans. Mm-hmm. All right, I know I can hit a golf ball. Actually, you would start at the Pirate Museum, mm-hmm. hit a golf ball to wait. I got to get the north to south right. The City Gates is the furthest north.
City Gates is
so it's a chip shot.
Yeah.
To the Pirate Museum. Yeah. Pirate Museum to Meehan's.
Yes.
Definitely can do that. It's only 1 block. And then Meehan's to Prohibition Kitchen. But St. Augustine Pirate Museum, they have over 800 artifacts. Ask for Captain Mayhem when you go in there. He does an amazing tour. They have some Halloween stuff coming up in the next week or two. Give them a call. Check it out over there. All right. Kaiser's Deli and Market. I'm telling you right now, you cannot beat their pastrami. It is the best I've ever had. It's that good fatty pastrami, and they got a wonderful French dip. I haven't had a bad sandwich there at all. They have ready to eat meals. And Kaiser's just a great dude, and we're so happy to have him on as a sponsor. You had lunch there this week.
It was really good. Thank you so much, Kaiser. So make sure if you do go to Kaiser's Deli, make sure you say, "Hi, Kaiser."
Hi, Kaiser. Saw you on Bollox. All right, Meehan's Irish Pub. I had lunch there today. It's just had the mac and cheese. Your favorite. I did the chicken bites, and I did the peel and eat shrimp, which is a spicy peel and eat shrimp. Was so good.
And you had your business associate there. What did he get?
We just shared. We shared the apps.
The best way to do it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of, if you're going to go to Meehan's, it feels like you should be sharing everything anyway. It's just that kind of vibe. It's 3 bars in one. You have the downstairs, you have the pub, you have the oyster bar upstairs. It's starting to get into oyster season. Is actually oyster season right now. And then you got the backyard where there's live music on the weekends, and just to me, it's the most fun you can have under one roof or out in the backyard. Meehan's Irish Pub. All right, St. Augustine Distillery and City Gates. These guys know quality. They do it right. They put it with you. They understand how to get the product out there. Just so happy to have these guys as sponsors. Phil and Mike and all the guys, Will over there. They do such an incredible job, and they've made this a tourist destination in St. Augustine. It's not just a place to go have a drink. You're going to enjoy taking that tour, and you're going to feel like, oh man, this is a place you're going to buy. You're going to buy when you go in there. I'm just telling you right now, if you do the tasting tour, you're going to find something you like, and you're going to buy when you get in there. All right, Blake, I'm going to go with Dennis Rodman.
Oh, geez.
I got the weirdo of the weirdos.
I definitely would have to agree with that.
I think Rodman is the weirdo of the weirdos. And before I go on, I had honorable mentions. Do you have any honorable mentions that didn't make your list today? But I had honorable mentions, and these guys just didn't make my list. And you tell me if you even know who some of these guys are. Brian Bosworth.
Oh, the boss.
The Boz. All right. One of the beautiful things about the Boz, and he had a better college career, very similar to Ricky Williams, than he did a pro career. One of the things I loved about Bosworth, and he had a couple movies out there. He made a little bit of money in the movies, but he owned the rights to the T-shirt and the saying, "I hate the Boz," and he sold those shirts, and he made money off of those shirts.
Good for him.
You know, and he had the terrible haircut. Was he Oklahoma guy?
Yep, Oklahoma
guy. And I think in his pro career, the one thing he's remembered for the most is just getting pancaked
by Bo Jackson.
All right. So he was my honorable mention. Mm-hmm. You know, just never really panned out in the pros. My other honorable mention is Al Hrabowski. You know who Al Hrabowski is? You ever heard of him?
I'm afraid I do not.
All right, Al Hrabowski was in the 70s. He was an excellent relief pitcher, and he was called the Mad Hungarian.
Oh, right? I remember this.
So he would work himself up. And behind the mound, he would go behind the mound, and then he'd just get himself so pumped up, and he'd pound the ball into his glove, and then he'd go step on the mound, and he'd just try and throw as hard as he freaking could. As a kid, we were getting beat so bad in a Little League baseball game, I decided to start imitating Al Hrabowski. You know, and I was never a good pitcher.
How many home runs did you give up after that?
I can tell you this. I gave up a ball to probably one of the greatest athletes I ever played against, and he played tight end at Oklahoma. But he was the same age as me. He was probably 6 or 7 months older than me. He was an age up in baseball. And his name was Duncan Parham. Anybody watching from DeLand knows anyone around he was a legend in football and baseball in that area at that time. Now, Duncan was 6'2" when he was 11 years old. Right? I was 4'5".
So right now, I'm like 6
You're like 6 foot. You're like 6 foot. He was 2 inches taller than you as an 11-year-old.
Whoa.
All right. Now, you got to take it. He grew to be 6'6". And he played Division I football. He's part of the okay, sorry, Duncan. If you're watching, don't kill me. All right, because he's still a big beast of a human being and a great athlete.
That's probably some reason my Siri got triggered. He
was recruited by University of Florida when Galen Hall was there. All right. There were some violations. Somehow Duncan ended up with a brand new Camaro. There were some violations. Galen Hall lost his job. Florida got put on NCAA restrictions. Duncan, because of all this, was allowed to go to Oklahoma. So he graduated and finished his football career in Oklahoma. But Duncan hit a ball that I don't know if it's landed today after me doing my Al Hrabowski imitation.
Oh.
So, but Duncan, if you're out there, I still remember how far you hit that ball. So Al Hrabowski was on there, and the 1979, the entire team of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
God, there has to be so much drugs in that team.
Oh, there was so much cocaine, so many things going on in that locker room. They had a guy named Kent DeColvey who looked like he scraped the ground to throw a pitch. They had Willie Stargell on that team. They had a great team. They ended up winning the World Series, and they had a song, "We Are Family," and all that. So they were on my honorable mention, but they couldn't crack into my top 3. Dennis Rodman, to me, is the weirdo of weirdos.
It has to be, man. It like learning about his story. It just he has to be the king weirdo.
Okay, and I did a lot of reading about the Worm. His nickname is the Worm.
Has he ever explained why he was called the Worm? Because how long his extremities are.
I think it was just because the way he kind of moved around. He just never really, even when he walked, he kind of moved around. Yeah. But I mean, he got the nickname the Worm. He played for obviously the Pistons. He won a couple of championships with the Pistons. He won 3 with the Bulls. But he went to San Antonio Spurs. Had a little bit of trouble there, legal trouble there. Popovich, yeah, he didn't get along with. Actually, it was Bob Hill was the coach, and Popovich
was the general manager.
Later became the coach. Quick stint with the Lakers, with the Mavericks, and then he played some Mexican teams and some other stuff. So I mean, he was all over the place. Had an affair with Madonna.
Who hasn't?
And he was married to Carmen Electra. Am I saying her name right?
Yep.
All right. But one of the strangest things that I saw and was his dad. Okay? His dad was Philander Rodman Jr., an Air Force enlisted member. Sorry, Bobby, if you're watching out there. And he fought in Vietnam. His dad fought in Vietnam. When he was young, his father left the family, eventually settling in the Philippines. Rodman says he has either 26 or 28 siblings.
Oh, wow.
All right. And Rodman, that's Rodman's father says he has 26 to 28. That's how many children his dad has had. Okay. Rodman says it could be as many as 47. His dad was a busy dude. Kind of explains Dennis's separation, and he never really had a relationship with his dad. They kind of met up again like 2012 or something like that, but he never really had a relationship with his dad.
But I remember like in the Last Dance, Rodman's father actually came back during like the Bulls dynasty, and Rodman's like,
he was like, I didn't want anything to do with him.
No,
he wanted nothing to do with him.
Wow, but definitely like accomplishments, like 5-time NBA champion, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, whole bunch of rebounds, like 7-time rebound champion, like in a row, he was a defensive only player. Like you don't hear that today.
Well, and here's the thing. You only think of him as defense. Yeah. All right. And you asked about how he got the nickname the Worm. He actually got the nickname the Worm from his mom. All right. And she named him that when he was playing pinball. So he was moving around all the time and he couldn't hold still playing pinball. And his mom nicknamed him the Worm when he was playing pinball. But Rodman hit a growth spurt. He was only like 5'11", and then he hit a growth spurt, and he went back into basketball into college. He was an NAIA 3-time All-American. All right? And one of the things that he went from 5'11" to 6'7" in 1 year. All right? In a single game, because you don't think of Rodman as being a scorer. He averaged 25.7 points and 15.7 rebounds in college when he was with Southeastern Oklahoma State in high school. All right, in one of the tournament games, in a single game, he scored 46 points in 32 rebounds in one game. But you don't think of Rodman ever as scoring because of his bad boy image, what he did with the Pistons. You know, and when Chuck Daly retired, it sent Rodman into a depression.
Yeah.
He went into a depression. Chuck Daly retired. He divorced from his wife, and he talks about it in his book that he went to actually the gymnasium with a shotgun in his vehicle to kill himself. And he said that was kind of an epiphany in his life. He luckily fell asleep. He was intoxicated, probably had some drugs in his system, and he fell asleep before he was able to actually do it. And he talks about it in the book where he dressed in a wedding dress or something like that. It was his, what was it, As Bad as I Want to Be?
Yeah.
Is that the name of the book?
I think so.
Bad as I Want to Be. He talks about depression and he talks about these things. But we're talking about a guy who totally shifted his entire life in one moment. And it really changed the way he is. And he's like, I'm just going to live my life. He was a lifetime introverted. And he's just like, I'm going to live my life just the way I want to live my life. He's a weirdo, but you can't deny his success.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, but he's automatically a weirdo in my eye because of like the whole North Korea thing. But yeah, it's like he is definitely the most interesting like man that's ever played basketball.
Yeah, I think he fits into this category better than anybody else.
Yeah,
I mean, and not only, you know, we talked about McMahon having some Super Bowl rings. He had 2 Super Bowl rings. Rodman had 5 championships. All right, 2 All-Star appearances, 2-time All-NBA third team, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year 90 and 91, 7-time All-Defensive first team, NBA All-Defensive team second team once, 7 NBA rebounding championships in a row. He did that 7 times in a row. He was the NBA 75th anniversary team. And like I said before, 3-time NAIA All-American. So one of the weird things was he was so introverted. One of the things that he credits to saving his life is he met a young man at a basketball camp where he was kind of coaching at a basketball camp, and his last name was Rich. This rich family, they weren't rich, but they were
the rich family,
a white family, but they adopted him. They lived on a farm, and he said it kind of got him to come out of his shell. Unfortunately, him and the family had a big falling out, you know, and he lost that support system. He was on The Apprentice, did very well on The Apprentice. You know, just an interesting guy.
Yeah.
So I have not read the book, and after reading this today, I think I want to read the book.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I also know there was a 30 for 30 documentary as well that I think you watch as well. But we gotta rewatch it at this point, just to see everything again. But we'll say, speaking about like obviously for like most younger fans of NBA today, they only associate Rodman with the Bulls. They don't really think about him on the bad boy Pistons. But no, were you a Celtics fan? Like look around this time?
I was a Celtics fan in the 80s until
the Magic came.
Until the Magic came. And he made a very derogatory comment about Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Now Larry Legend was in his prime. He won 3 MVPs in a row and almost unstoppable. All right. He couldn't jump. He wasn't fast, but could be possibly the cockiest sports person I've ever heard of or seen. Like, and him and Jordan's super cocky also, but the great ones are. But Rodman made a statement that came back and bit him a little bit. And he said, the only reason Larry Bird gets hype is because he's white. Then Larry Bird took him to task in like that next series and whipped up on Rodman pretty good. But the 2 years later, the Pistons were whooping up on the Celtics because Larry hurt his back.
Yeah, but that was actually Parrish that actually whooped hard on Rodman.
Well, Rodman would try and guard Bird, and he couldn't handle him. And as far as manhandling, Parrish is the one that pushed him around a little bit. But Lambert and Parrish were the two that were battling each other.
Yeah, but speaking about the Bad Boys Pistons, do you think that they would survive in today's NBA?
No, it's called too tight. You just couldn't get away with what they got away with. The flagrant foul rule wasn't in place. I mean, they were flagrant. Before Rodman actually replaced Mahorn and Dantley. And those two guys were they were just bullies. I mean, that's what they were. Lambert was the same way. And then they had their superstar, Isaiah. And they had Dumars who could spread the court. So, I mean, they had a very well-balanced team, and no one was the better coach at the time than Deli. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they were a very well-coached team, and they whipped up on the Bulls. Michael Jordan, before he had Pippen, he got whipped up on by these guys. So
definitely.
So, all right, who's your next person? You got a basketball player too.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not sure which name to go with here because because
give them all.
So I'm gonna go with Ron Artest, Meta World Peace.
Yeah, and he was a great defensive player, a very, very athletic player. On the court, he seemed to be an intelligent basketball player on the court, like during the game, in between the lines. Mm-hmm. Just as soon as he stepped off.
Yeah.
And it all started with what was the
Malice of the Palace.
Malice of the Palace, yeah, right?
Yeah. So
and explain to people what that is.
So basically, during the end of a Pistons game in Detroit,
he's playing with the Pistons.
Yeah,
he's playing with the Pacers.
So Ron Artest is with the Pacers. He placed a hard foul on Ben Wallace of the Pistons. Mm-hmm. Then Ben Wallace pushed him. Then the usual basketball fight.
Ben Wallace was a
one of the best defensive only players. Couldn't hit free throw for his life. And to be fair, same with Rodman.
Yeah. Well, they kind of have similar games.
Yeah.
A lot of energy, a lot of rebounds, great defender.
Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah. Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's the usual basketball fight happens, but they actually moved Rodman like.
Is Rodman in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, he made top 75. He had to be in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely. Yeah. Sorry. I meant to say Artest. So they moved Artest away from like the main scuffle area, and actually he laid down on the broadcaster's table.
And some knucklehead
threw a drink of water on him, or water.
It was cold water. It was probably beer.
Yeah.
And he went up in the stands and started beating on some random dude.
That is yeah. So it was a guy in like a Pistons jacket, threw it, but he actually hit. But he went to a guy that didn't throw it, that was near him, and just started clobbering him.
Pulling, and then the whole team was up in the stands.
Yes. So he got suspended for like 88 games. His teammate Steven Jackson suspended 30 games, and like other players like Reggie Miller was still on his like last season. He got suspended like 3 games as well. Mm-hmm. It was chaos.
Yeah.
Like I actually go back and watch like the SportsCenter clips, like that night, and to just see like just to hear like everyone's reaction about it.
Yeah, he had no idea who threw it, and he goes up in the stands and just picks some random dude and starts punching in the general area and starts punching the guy.
I mean, to be fair, you can't do that. Like,
no, you can't. You don't know who did it.
Yeah.
You can't just go up there and start picking somebody out and going, yeah, this is... Because he was laying down. He was laying down on the table like the strange person he is.
Yeah.
Laying down on the table after this big brawl, and someone, which is some idiot, threw water from the stands and hit him, and he lost his mind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that wasn't the end of it.
No.
So he changed his name.
So in 2011, he changed his name to Meta World Peace to better reflect to promote like social issues. Mm-hmm. But in 2012, he was on the Lakers at this time. They were facing Oklahoma in Los Angeles, Yeah, I believe it was War Peace went up for a layup. He got the bucket, banged his chest. Then all of a sudden, James Harden was right here, bam.
Yeah, I'm not a James Harden fan. But
But to be fair, that's
with a
still
name like Meta World Peace, you should be a little more. But I mean, he always had that violent, and he was one of the ones that gave a lot of credit to his sports psychologist because he had to have somebody kind of help control his energy and his anger. And how many did he won when he was with the Lakers, right?
yes. It was
Two championships.
2010, I think only.
He only won the one.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, basically he gets to call himself a champion. He was defensive player of the year.
Just hit his Wikipedia; it'll show you on the highlights.
Yeah,
of where he was at. But I mean, he was a shutdown defender. I think he won. I think he was defensive all team a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, look at his highlights there. What's it say?
Yep, one-time champion.
Champion 2010.
Yes.
All-star defensive play. He was a defensive player of the year.
2004. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll say but there's a little anecdote about Ron Artest that I quickly want to touch on before your last player. Apparently like during his time with the Pacers before the Malice at the Palace, he actually worked part-time at Second City to get the employee discount there.
Just to get the employee discount.
Just to get the employee discount.
That's beautiful. That shows how quirky he is. Here's a guy making millions of dollars and he's working.
You gotta save that money somehow. Make money and save money.
Not hating on it. Not hating on it at all. All right, our final guy, and this is a guy from my childhood. And I think there's a 30 for 30 on him if you want to catch a story about this guy, and unfortunately his life ends pretty tragically. But Mark Friedrich. Mark Friedrich was a rookie sensation with the Detroit Tigers, just kind of sprung onto the scene in 76. Made the team coming out of spring training, right-handed pitcher, tall guy, very skinny, very lanky. He was nicknamed the Bird after Big Bird from Sesame Street. But he would be standing there and he'd have the ball in his glove and he would talk to the ball. He'd be like, okay, I want you to go low and outside and, fastball, I'm going to cut it. It's going to go in. And, he would talk to the ball. Probably one of the quirkiest baseball players I've ever seen. And one of the most exciting guys to watch at that time. And unfortunately, he only had 4 years in the major leagues. He ended up with only 29 wins, 19 losses. But his rookie of the year in 1976, he won that. He won the AL ERA title for that, and just was on top of the world. He won He was the starting All-Star pitcher. He did take the loss in the All-Star game in 76.
I think it was Jim Palmer that won the Cy Young that year, I believe.
Yeah, I think Palmer ended up with like 22 wins or 24 wins or something like that. Was it him or was it Friedrich? Friedrich was 77.
Palmer.
Not Friedrich. I mean Guidry, Ron Guidry.
It was so Palmer in 76. It was Palmer won 22 games, 13 losses. Then Mark Friedrich with 19 9.
Yeah.
But I mean, but
was Ron Guidry 77?
I believe so. I'll double check, but Friedrich didn't have a lot of strikeouts. He was more of a contact guy.
No, he was sinker ball. Ball had a lot of movement. Very controlled pitcher. Reminded me, if you wanted to compare the type of pitcher he was the type of pitcher you would compare to like a Greg Maddux. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of strikeouts. Put the ball where you want to put it. Make people miss just a little bit. Never making really good contact. He did. I mean, and unfortunately, he hurt himself in the second season. Had a little bit of trouble. Comes back again and he tears his rotator cuff. And after that, he never really had a career. But here's a guy who just looked like he was going to have this amazing career. Very quirky dude. Looked like he was going to have an amazing career. And always a happy guy. Always very, like the guy who looked like he just loved the game of baseball. He'd pat the mound down and clean up the mound with his hands. But just he was working on the farm. He was 54 years old. He was working on his dump truck. He was underneath his dump truck, and somehow his shirt got caught up in the drive shaft. And a coworker or somebody who worked with him that had contracted him to, because he had his own dump truck, and that's what he did for a living as a truck driver on his own farm, found him underneath his truck at the age of 54. So just like a very tragic death.
Very sad.
And but he was always like, if he went into Tiger Stadium in the late 80s, he would have been the most popular. I mean, they had, Alan Trammell, they had Lou Whitaker, they had Kirk Gibson, or people would want to take their picture with Mark Friedrich over these guys that were the superstars that gave them their championship. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was that kind of magnetic character.
Definitely. Yeah.
And go back to Rodman. Isn't Rodman in the Wrestling Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he is WWE Hall of Fame. Yeah.
So he's in 2 Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So, you know what, Blake? I think we're out of time, dude.
But real quick, but I know you had some honorable mentions. I might as well say mine. I definitely say we've got to mention Bill Lee.
Bill Lee, he still will appear with the bananas every once in a while.
I'll say Gilbert Arenas.
Okay.
That might be more of a criminal weirdo, but
yeah, he had some criminal issues. I mean, there's a lot of people that had some criminal issues. What's it, Plaxico?
Plaxico Burress.
Didn't he shoot himself?
Shot himself in the leg.
Okay, he shot himself in the leg.
For former Steelers player.
Yeah.
And we'll say Dwight Howard.
Yeah, he turned out to be pretty quirky too.
Yeah, but hey, but he's more on the fun side down like the criminal side.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, I mean, they're free spirits. They live their life, and I don't think a lot of them have that many regrets.
Hey. All right. So before we close it out, so who was the most quirkiest player you ever played with?
I played with a really, really some fun guys. My buddy Jeff Rood, who's still my friend today, he had the ability to try and gross people out the best he could, like just do some of the grossest things in the world. But probably the quirkiest guy I played with was a guy who's about 5'6", left-handed pitcher, and he would eat like ash because he felt like it was healthy for him, like volcanic ash and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he was of Native American descent from New York, and his name was Steve Carter. And we're talking about a guy, like, you walked into the room, you didn't know what you were going to get and who you were going to get. Now, I played with some guys that battled schizophrenia too, where like they just hadn't been medicated properly, and I played with some of those guys. But Steve Carter was probably the most fun and unique guy, and I have no idea where he is right now. I know where Jeff's at. He's a school teacher in Central Florida. But his ability was to try and gross people out the best he possibly could. Great pitcher. Usually it was the pitchers that was the weirdos because they had so much extra time. So yeah, you didn't hear about position players being too weird. So always the pitcher.
There's a lot of weird stuff happening in that bullpen.
Yeah, and I played with some guys. I played during the steroid era, so I played with some guys that their steroids made them do some pretty crazy stuff. One of my roommates in my junior college, he's now a commander in the military and in the Navy, and I'm telling you right now, I saw him lose it over some of the littlest things, where he just is it Roman Reigns that does that jump punch?
The Superman punch, yep.
Superman, yeah, I saw him do that at University of Florida, and I'm standing at home plate. I got hit with a pitch, and the big old brawl broke out, and it started because my roommate Superman punched the pitcher for hitting me, and I was arguing with the catcher at the time.
Wow. Well, I mean,
I look up and I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. And the catcher was huge, so I knew I wasn't fighting him. So I ran out to the second baseman and grabbed him.
Yeah. So So it's definitely a great visual to end the show on.
Yeah. So yeah, I thank you guys. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that share button. Support our sponsors. Tell them you saw them here. It really helps us out. It lets them know that they're spending money in the right place. And this is Bollox Talks and Tangents, and we'll see you next week.